Hey everyone, thought I'd do a quick video here on how to tune your cello. This is a very important topic and I haven't really gone over this in detail. The most important thing you're going to need when you're sitting down to tune your cello is of course a tuner. Now you can get a store-bought tuner like this Korg CA2, or you can download an app on your phone. All of our phones have microphones on them, so the apps on the phones for tuning work just as well. And you'd want to turn this on and make sure it's calibrated to 440 hertz for A. That's the note A. And that's the A string on the cello. It's actually 220 hertz, but it'll register as 440 as an octave. And if your string is in tune, it's going to light up green, and the little line meter is going to be right in the center. And of course, plucking will get you pretty close, but the best way to check is by bowing. And this says I'm just a tiny bit flat, so I'm going to use my fine tuner to turn that clockwise to get that right on the green. And then I'll check the D string and do the same thing. Get all these to be right in the green. So when you tune each string to the tuner, that's the quickest and easiest way to get really close. You'll be, of course, tuning your instrument to equal temperament. These computers are programmed in equal temperament, and that's not totally in tune, but it's really, really close. The best way to check, of course, is using the open strings. You can see equal temperament sounds pretty good. A really good way to check, though, is the harmonics on the cello. So the octave harmonic on your A string, which will be halfway between the bridge and the nut. Usually if you put your thumb down here on the corner of the neck where you would play in fourth position, and then just let your hand open up like that and have third finger lightly touch the string, you'll get your octave harmonic. And you can match the same harmonic pitch on the D string, first finger in fourth position, where you normally would play that A. But lightly touch it, and it produces the same harmonic. So by going back and forth between this harmonic on the A string, the octave, and then this one on the D string, I'm trying to match and eliminate some interference. So I heard that one was just a tiny bit sharp. I'm just making very small adjustments with the fine tuners here to try to eliminate any interference and get a true unison note. Need to go up a little bit. I'm going down each string, playing the same harmonics, and making just some minuscule adjustments to see if we can get the intonation a little better. Alright, that sounds even better, I think, than equal temperament. We've got the fifths really resonating. Now, the harmonic method is only going to work if your strings are still in good shape. When they get old and stretched out, the harmonics can become a little faulty. So the best way, I think, is relying on your ear and playing these open strings that produce the interval of a perfect fifth. And what you can do, if you're not quite sure if it's in tune, if you hear interference that's happening between the two strings, you're like, well, that's not in tune, make one of the strings sharp with your first finger by putting it just slightly above the nut and pressing in a little bit. So that throws it off. My strings are in tune, but let me detune my D string. So I'm making the D string sharp with my first finger. Like, well, that helps, so that string's way flat. I'm going to adjust it with the fine tuner. Now I've got it pretty close again. I'll check the harmonic. Still need to come up a little bit. Much better. Good. So now I've got my cello in tune. Now if your cello is nowhere near in tune, then you'll have to use your pegs. And kind of zoom in on the peg box here. As you can see how the strings are wound over top of the peg. So on the A and D string sides, you're going to turn these clockwise, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. On the C and G string side, turning it counterclockwise is actually going to tighten your string because the string is wound up around the top. So just make note of that. If you start to tighten it like you're tightening a screw, it's actually going to unwind your string. So when you're using the pegs, put your bow down so you don't have that. And the easiest way to do it is put the cello on your knee like this so you can get to it. And you want to turn and put pressure in. I'm going to detune the A string. So when I go back up, I'm pushing in towards the peg box as I'm tuning it. Once you get it pretty close, you don't need to use the peg anymore. Just use your fine tuner down here on the tailpiece. And that's how you use your pegs. One other thing to note about the pegs, if they're not turning smoothly, which mine aren't, they're probably in need of this stuff right here called peg compound or peg dope. And it looks like a tube of lipstick. You can order this off Char. I think this is a Henderson company, but I think Hill also makes some of these. And it just looks like lipstick. And you would take your peg out of the peg box, your string off, and you would coat this around the peg, and that'll help it turn smoothly. If your string is having the problem of slipping, your peg is slipping, it probably needs to be pressed in more into your peg box so that it'll stay. Anyway, I think I've covered everything about tuning the cello with the pegs and the fine tuners. I think I'm also going to post a video on how to change strings, because I know a lot of people, the worst mistake you can make if you change your strings is to change all of them and take all of them off, because the bridge will come off and you've got to reset that, and there's always a chance that your sound post and the inside is going to fall without the pressure that's holding it in place. So if you do change your strings, just do one string at a time. And I'll next time I change strings, I'll post a video on how to do that. Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful on helping you tune your cello.